Hey, what's up everybody? It's Fuller from Worship Tutorials, and today we're going to be talking about open tunings, and then we're going to talk about a little simple finger pattern that goes really well with that tuning. So here's what I'm going to teach you. Basically, pretty simple. It's probably not that simple, but
sounds real hard.
I'm going to make it real simple for you. So let's start with the tuning for the guitar. Most of you know, if you don't, you know now, that the guitar is tuned E, A, D, G, B, E. Those are the notes of each string, and I don't want to bore you with that, but when you hear open tuning or when you hear dad, gad, all people are really doing is they're just changing the actual pitches of the strings. So you're basically tuning this string down. So you got, normally it's an E, I got this one down to a D as well. So you got the top string to an E, and basically you're just... And the best way to tune it on the fly is just tune it against the open D string until it sounds right, or use a tuner if you have that. Then we also are tuning the high E down to a D as well. You can use the same method against that open string, and it gives you that nice sound. So what you have now is you have D, A, D, dad, then G, B, D. So this is actually a variation of dad, gad, because we are actually, in dad, gad, you actually tune the B down to an A. So, but we're not doing that for today's lesson. We're going to keep that as a B. So now I want to teach you a really cool sounding finger style rhythm that you hear a lot with indie artists. John Mayer does it a lot. So this is a very cool pattern that you can do that gives this open D a little bit of life and a little bit of groove. And it sounds really cool. So let me play it again for you. So it sounds really cool, but in actuality, my left hand isn't doing much. A lot of it's in my right hand. So let's go over it. So we're in the open D tuning, D, A, D, G, B, D, variation of dad, gad. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finger the D chord a little bit differently. So here is the basic D chord, but you can also make a D chord by playing the 5th fret of the A string, which is a D note, and then the 4th fret of the D string, which is an F sharp, and then you've got the open D, so you got this sound here. That's a D chord. It's a very simple D chord without the A in it. Now, what I like to do, since the next string is the open G, we can play this open G and it actually makes it a suspended sound. So instead of just a regular D chord, we now have this D suspension, which adds a lot of color just by playing these two fretted notes and 2 open strings. So it's got that really nice, happy sounding, a little bit dark feel, and all I'm doing is playing two fingers at the headstock. So that's the sound you get with this chord. And because you're in open D, all of the strings work together well. And then when I go to the G, I'm simply moving my middle finger up to this G note on the top string, and then I'm moving my first finger down to the G string playing the 4th fret, which is giving you a B. So now you got basically a really cool inverted G chord. And so these are the chords. So you want to just practice the chords first, going from D to G. And you can play any of the strings and they sound good, or you can just keep the lower strings. So here's the D, here's the G. Or you can leave that string up and just literally play that one note. It's got all of those there. Now I'm actually muting the A string, but you can also can add notes to the A string. That note, and that gives it even a more kind of a darker sound, but it's really easy to move back. So let's break this finger pattern down with the right hand. So the right hand, we got our thumb, our first finger, and our second finger, thumb 1, 2. So for this pattern, I'm going thumb 1, thumb 2, thumb 1, thumb. So, and that's how I'm playing these strings. So thumb 1, thumb 2, thumb 1, thumb 2, thumb 1, thumb 2. There it is right there. So you just got to get that used, and then once you get the motor skill, you can just sit there all day. Of course, I just messed that up, but that's funny. And so once you get that pattern, it just becomes second nature, and you can whip that out. Then you can kind of do a hybrid of kind of picking and finger picking and just using your hand as a pick. Sometimes I'll just put my two fingers together, pretend I have a pick. So if you get tired of the right hand finger thing or the tempo's too fast, you can kind of play the same vibe, but just kind of approximate where you're hitting the strings, so you'll get this sound. And it's like I have a pick. So you can still kind of get a cool groove. The finger picking just gives it a little more definition. Makes it a little bit more mellow. But if the song gets big or whatever you're playing needs more dynamics, you can just kind of pick it. So we got this basic pattern. Then we can switch to the G. Whatever strings we want to play, whatever notes we want to play in. Whatever notes you add, as long as you're doing the pattern, it'll sound very musical. So to get the A chord, you can either play it up here, or you can just go to a regular A chord. Since you're still in the open D tuning, you can still play the A chord. So you can get the D, the G, A, back to D, and some harmonics. Cool thing about open tunings, harmonics sound really cool. You can do more harmonics because now they're tonal to the key, and it gives you kind of like a nice sound. And then I'll always throw in a little riff like this. And since the guitar is an open tuning, the whole thing just kind of resonates with this like open D sound, so it makes it really nice. Again, the harmonics. I'm just playing on the 7th fret, open strings. And actually, when you're listening to a recording and you're trying to figure out a song, one of the dead giveaways that they're using an open tuning is a lot of times they'll throw harmonics in there. And you'll know by the harmonics how the guitar's tuned, which is kind of a cool tip. So that kind of wraps up our basic tutorial on open tuning concepts and a basic finger pattern. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.